Right, Ledgers, good evening. How's everybody? So let me know if you can see my screen and hear me. Yep, XRP is at the end. I'll speak about XRP at the end. Let's get the audio checks done and we can start. Should be seeing a Bitcoin chart. Okay. How's everybody? Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Christmas, holidays, whatever. If you celebrate it, hope you've been smashing the Bitcoin lungs. It's been good. Surprising, I was expecting a pump on Christmas, to be honest with you. But it is where it is. So once we get the necessities out of the way with, I'll go over Bitcoin as usual. And then you guys chose XRP, okay? So I want to probably go over some trend continuation plays. We'll review Bitcoin last week's, how those levels played out. And we'll do this week. ES, I did say I'm going to do a YouTube video on ES. That'll be the new year, okay? Once the new year starts, I'll do that. Right now, I'm not really interested. It's going to be a short week, bank holidays and stuff. But yeah, so welcome to the weekly Bitcoin update video. Before we start, I just want to say thanks to our sponsor, PrimeXBT, for making this happen. You can show them some appreciation by signing up to their platform using the link in the description. If you use the code TraderSZ, you'll also get a 50% deposit bonus. Finally, just a reminder that nothing discussed today constitutes financial advice, and you should always do your own research before doing any kind of investing or trading. Now that's out the way with, okay? Bitcoin, go long. Done. So, did everybody watch last week's video? So, we'll quickly recap that first, okay? If you did, it's a messy chart, I know. We'll start with the clean one today, but let's quickly review this one. How it played out and how the importance of the levels are, okay? I think Main does the Ethereum, so he can cover that. And I actually did Ethereum yesterday. If you check out TraderXZ's live stream, I covered Ethereum yesterday. So we'll stick to this for now. But yeah, so last week, okay, these are the levels I drew out. So I always say I spend a lot of time marking out specific levels, okay? I spend a lot of time on that. Why? Because it's those levels that I'm going to look to execute a trade at. Not patterns on its own. Patterns on its own mean nothing with that context. And I think I went over that in detail yesterday with TraderXZ. So let's start with the levels I drew. I mean, the reasons behind all these levels were last week, okay? There's no point repeating that, okay? So if you watch that, or if you haven't, go back to it after the stream or whenever you get a chance, and see how they played out. So all I want to see the focus of this. So one of the scenarios was that we deviate or come to this level. I gave a deviation trigger plan, okay? And then I said if you play it level to level like that, so this gave two opportunities, one there towards there. I said if you broke above there, then we know the targets towards that. And then the second one was, if you missed this one, you had another opportunity to play towards there. Then as the week unfolded, we had a breakout plan. And the breakout plan was above here. So if we look, we broke above it. We deviated back below it. And I said, if it deviates, I've gone over all this already. Then you've got your risk in. And then the objectives I've mentioned, fib extension at the time. Now, as the week unfolds, obviously, at the time we didn't have this low. But I spoke about fib extensions, okay? As how it's one tool of using, if you're in price discovery, obviously one tool, the one tools maybe options, ranges, okay, equal measured moves, okay. One was this. So if you from low to high, 200% extension, okay, more or less hit it yesterday, and then obviously we spiked up today. So that's more or less done. So that's in yesterday's video, last week's video, sorry. So if you watch that, you'll know. So let's move forward now to this week. What do we have to work with? So we are approaching year end, okay? And usually, and I spoke about this last week, where we do tend to price in a wick. Is this topped out for the year? I don't think it is personally, okay? But if it is, we'll have a plan in place. We don't need to worry about it, okay? I'm not going to guess if it is the top. I don't know. I'm not going to guess anything. I'm just going to map out my levels that I'm interested in trading at. and if it follows my plan, I step in. If it doesn't, leave it alone. Don't forget to like the video. We've got 170 viewers, so let's get it to 100. Like I said, it helps the video, the YouTube algos or something. Okay. Yeah, so let's do it again. So I'll briefly draw over levels. I mean, we've got this higher time frame level here, the yearly. I can't gain much out of that, okay, other than it's down here, and that's quite far away. Are we gonna get a dip to that? I mean, with Bitcoin, nothing's impossible. Okay, nothing's impossible because I will have it marked out anyway. Maybe for a possible, if for some reason or it does dip, it's always there. We'll work with that. Let's go to the quarterly. Okay, nothing much to get from that. It's bullish as fuck. What can we say? Monthly. Okay, not much. Other than it's bullish. Weekly. Okay, so now you can start working with something. Okay, so what I'll do is, what's the level beneath that? Well, last week's high, isn't it? So let's map out last week's high. Just keep it there. Just keep the levels there. We'll work with that as price unfolds. So we'll do that. So that's last week's high. Let's go to the daily now. And this is a consolidation here. So we've sort of got a range to work with now. So we can say, well, based off of this, okay, based off of this, we've got consolidation. Okay, so I'm marking out worst case scenarios for now as to when this level would be you know, useful for me. If for some reason we did do a dip, if we came into there, if we broke below this low, then this would be a great area. Now this yearly level nicely lines up with this consolidation. So if, you know, it did ever happen, this would be a great level I'll be looking for. Previous all-time high for looking to buy. Okay, so I've mentioned that. I should have mentioned that later. Ignore what I just said for now. I'm going to come back to this later, literally with relevant levels now. So what other levels are more important? I'm getting ahead of myself. Apologies. Rewind. Okay, we'll leave that for later on. What levels are more relevant here? Well, the only level I got is this here. And today's daily candle, it hasn't closed just yet, okay? If you look, when the week start, it's been up. So it's pricing in the wick, at least for the weekly. Sorry, my throat's going. So this is going to be an important level for me. Actually, I'll remove that. I'll draw it as a line, okay? So this is I'm going to see now, on the lower time frame, what is the price action like around that level, okay? Because that's going to be a level. If it's a key level, why do I know it's an important level? I mean, it's had a pullback from there, didn't it? And then let's see on the lower time frame how price behaves around that. Did it give us a consolidation where I could hinge a trade off of? Possibly. If it gets back below this, is this a possible deviation? So this is going to be important now. Previous day's high. So let's go down now. So all I'm doing now is just marking out the levels. That's all I'm doing. Nothing else than that. Taking it slowly. And okay, we can see that now. We can see there was a consolidation there. So I always speak about when do I hinge my trades? Mainly around the higher time frame levels, okay? And then I go to the lower time frame to refine it. Unless it's bottom already, I play a trend continuation. So this is important for me now. Resistance becomes support. Okay, so working with that, what would be the next objective for price? Okay, if it's gonna go up from here because it's support level, I'll come back to trigger in a minute, but it's important for me to know if it's gonna go up, where would be an objective. We can't just go in, especially when it's a, you know, new price discovery. You know, what do we do? So what I'm going to do is say, okay, it's obvious that this is an objective here, okay, because it's a high, so we're trading. So if for example, say it's not confirmed as a range just yet, but if it does do this, rejects, breaks down, then that would be a confirmed range for me. At this point, that's a range high. At this point, it's acting as a range low. So the range low is established. For now, this is possibly a range high. Another level that could be a range high is this level here. I'll get onto that in a minute, okay? And I'll explain why that is. So we've got that so far. So where's the stops resting? In my opinion, I reckon below this low here. So the ideal scenarios would be, okay, let's mark out the objectives first. Objectives would be from that high to that low, using the exact same concept, okay? I'm not going to change nothing around. I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to stick to the same exact thing as I did last week, okay? High to the low. Let's mark our objectives if it is going to go up. I'm doing it roughly. You can do it neatly on your charts if you like. So do this level. I'll do that in a dotted line so it doesn't get in the way. There. There. Same exact thing. And around the 30,188, okay? If it's gonna break out, the next objectives are gonna be these 3 levels here. Okay, that's done now. So now I know what's gonna happen. So now I know if I'm gonna take a long, I know where I'm targeting. So it's always important for me to know where to go. There's no point taking a trade and just holding your dick and not knowing where it's gonna go. So we've done that. Now it comes to trigger now. There's a couple of scenarios I've got in mind now, okay? So I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, let's break this down now. Before we broke out of this, what could be the range? So I'm gonna go down to this level here. And I'm gonna mark out daily opens, okay? Because daily opens, in my opinion, are important. So let's mark out this daily open. And I'm gonna mark out yesterday, sorry, closes and opens. So let's mark this out as the same thing. This close and open are gonna be together. So let's watch this. So do that in green. Okay. So any questions, just leave it at the end. Let me get my stuff out of the way with, and then we'll go over if you've got questions, okay? Just let me get everything. Maybe I'll answer a question once I've finished, okay? So that's that done. So we can see the importance of that open there. So there, you can see it's here, possibly here. Below that, what was the consolidation that took it above? So this can be considered as one range. Okay, what was the consolidation that took it above? Why consolidation? That's where the accumulation is happening. It's going to be this consolidation here. So one, I'm going to mark a pullback scenario, and another is going to mark a trend continuation. So I did speak about trend continuation. Okay, an example of that was last week. So for whatever reason you didn't get on board here or whatever, the breakout play was always there above here, and it gave us the trigger consolidate. So at this point, remember when I said if it's a deviation or not? It comes back below, and then the moment it gets back above it, that gives you an invalidation level. Triggers based on invalidation to push up. So you'll be looking at something like this now in the middle of a leg now, okay? So if you quickly go forward and say, okay, where am I completely wrong? So if we look, that's previous day's high. Now remember when I said, what is a breakdown? One of the questions was a breaking market structure, if you remember, okay? And for me, just by looking at price action, this is not looking at any order flow or anything of such, just purely based on price action. Now, the way I explain it would mean you may get later entries, but those later entries do also, triggers, sorry, but they also mean you get higher probability trades in terms of getting validation in place. So we know that whatever pullback, if I'm bullish, okay, any pullbacks below a key SR level for me are considered as a deviation till proven otherwise. Okay, so where would I allow price to go? Well, this is an untested area, isn't it? So what scenario one is, if it gets back below here, that I'm thinking of it as in terms of deviation because it's still bullish until proven otherwise. If it comes into here, I'm thinking, okay, if there is a deviation, then what do I need to see? I need to see price reject and get back above immediately. Again, let's go back, okay, here. If this was a deviation at this point, you could have said, well, I don't know. So imagine this level here. So I'm just explaining it as easy as possible, okay? That level there is this blue level here, okay? So when it does this, at this point you think, okay, hang on a minute, is there a breakdown or not? At what point is that this for me classed as a deviation? Is when it gets back above. So once it got back above and held, then that became a deviation then, right? So look, it was fast-lived, fast spike down, consolidated, didn't waste time, got back above, and that was the confirmation trigger. Now, yes, I've got other techniques where you can enter here, but we'll speak about the easy ones here. This was your entry, there, invalidation level, whatever the targets are. Remember that now. Let's go forward. We're looking at the same thing here now, okay? Before I continue, is everybody with me? So what I'll be looking for is, we've got a consolidation here. If we can get a quick spike down, remember what I just showed you? Then get back above. Where's it getting back above? It's not just a random consolidation. It's around a daily level. And this was the previous consolidation at center up. If it does all of that and get back up, then that's my trigger, invalidation level in. Targets. I mean, short term with a scalp, you could probably go for that. Okay. But because it's bullish, I'd expect new highs until proven otherwise. First target. And then after that, the objectives would be here, here, and then there. So I've tried to explain as easy as possible, okay? What do you mean a bit of that technique? I mean, I've just shown you it. That is it. So if I've just shown you this, back test it first to see what it looks like. Get used to seeing that pattern at high time levels. Build stats around it. Forward test it, okay? When I say forward test, do demo, paper, whatever you gotta do. just to see if it works for you or not. Okay, and that's it. That would be a basic trigger entry technique. There's loads of entry techniques out there. I'm just teaching. I wouldn't say teaching. I'm just telling you a basic one. If you can master one, at least you've got one thing there that you can always fall back on. Okay, and that's it. Based on deviations, the importance of higher time frame levels, or why this consolidation is more important to me based on a key level. It's proving itself here. It's sort of proving itself here. Now, at this time of day, I don't like taking trades. I always say that. And then, if I miss this and it goes out without me, let it be so. That's me personally. I don't like taking trades on a Sunday. Sunday morning's fine, afternoon's fine. When it comes to evening time, I wait for the new week. And if I miss it, who gives a fuck? There's always the next trade. Okay? So that's done. So that is the pullback plan. Everybody clear with that before I continue? Okay. Now, what if this is the low? Okay. Now, again, I don't like to trade this at this time, but if this is the low, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down intraday now. What was the initial low of the day? The initial low of the day and the initial high of the day. I'll take the low of the day here. Then I'll take the high of the day. And I'm looking at the midpoint. Is the midpoint pivotal? If it proves to me to be pivotal, I'll look at that. So if we look, it has, hasn't it? Can we all agree it's kind of a pivotal level, isn't it? We've got support, wick, deviation, resistance. Could be a resistance here. Okay, now I know that is pivotal. No, well, if you're gonna ask a time frame to use, backtest it. So you say, okay, there's no specific changes, whatever looks good at the time, but just backtest it. That's the best way you're gonna answer it. The chart will tell you the answer. Okay, there's no strict rules I take. For me, there's so much discretion involved the way I do it, but I've given you a basic blueprint. That's all I'm gonna say, and see which time frames work best for you in your backtesting and gaining stats and forward testing. Forward testing is more important. Okay. So that's that. That's important for me. So that's done. So a trend continuation plan. Now, if they say this was like a Monday now even if this triggers for me tonight, I'm not going to take it. It's just a rule I have. And based on my stats, the strike rate isn't as high if I was to do it at this, take a trade at this time. Now, Bitcoin probably just fly, but it is where it is. So another key level for me is probably going to be, short term, this level here. Oops, I tried to switch that off here. So at this point, okay, well, we'll ignore that for now. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, is it if it gets back above here, is it gonna do one of these ones or not? That's the question for me. Okay, so this is what I've got to answer. So what do I see in that case? Well, this is the low. So back to SR level. This is the low cap in the market. Okay, now this is a move in the middle of a leg. Okay, so we know that when it deviates, this is like a gray area. So at this point, if it breaks above, if you had consolidated, remember the breaking mark structure pattern trigger technique I give? So it breaks the key level. At this point, I'm thinking, sometimes if I've got a clean validation, I will enter. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, is it going to deviate or not? Because it could. If I had done that, that would have been my trigger. I would have gone for the long. However, it deviates back below it. So at this point, it could be a deviation again. If it does that and gets back above, then that would be my trigger. And then depending on if it, say for example, say we get something like this, consolidate back above it, that's my trigger. The consolidation that took here above, the low of that will be, and probably just keep it a bit below just in case of a spike, will be my invalidation. So in actual fact, I may get a tighter stop, even though it's in the middle of a leg, rather than the low. Is that making clear? Why? Because I know that if it gets back below that, I'm wrong then, isn't it? If it's cleared this level and the midpoint for the day, if it's going to continue up higher to the other side of the range, then it should go up from here, shouldn't it? Hence why this will be my invalidation. And then target, and then we'll see there, if it's got legs higher or not, I don't know. Is that clear for everybody? Is it making sense? Or is everybody confused? Okay, and that's it. That's more or less it for Bitcoin. Okay, I think I can do more detailed one. I mean, once I think with the new year starts. But to be honest with you, where we're at, that's what I've got. I'm not even thinking about shorting it right now. I'd rather wait for dips than short it. I mean, if you are going to short it, you need to be really good at what you're doing. Okay, there's no point. I'm not going to go over stuff like that. And to be honest with you, a lot of my audience right now are still developing traders. Okay, I'm not going to discuss that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's about it really. If we do get the dip, going back down to this level here, okay, we'll see what happens here. I'll be looking for the same thing. This is support area, so if you do get a dip down into here, we'll see what happens, okay? But what would then be is, I don't have enough levels to work with, to be honest with you, with this pair. We'll see what happens. But what I would then do is, say for whatever reason that is the high, what I would do is, I say, okay, this is one range, isn't it? Here, right? We can all agree this is a range. So it wouldn't be out the question for this to be a big support area. If this is considered as a big accumulation area, okay, then a retest of that springboard up would be a bad idea. So what I would then do is maintaining the bullish stance. So this is more or less trend continuation play, okay? And this is like, for example, say identifying all of this would see if you were waiting for a dip, say for example, say all the way back here, okay, and if you come down to here, you would have missed the move. If you identify, okay, this is the range, and while it's within this range, I can play up and down, because what did I say about trending market? It's like this, isn't it? Sometimes you get this, but if it's really strong, it ain't gonna give you that. It's gonna give you this. So that's why I said, okay, let's play level to level, and if it does break out, hence the breakout scenario, that's the breakout. So I don't know if it's gonna even come to this level, okay? It could do. I mean, I think at any moment we could get a nuke, okay? And then continuation, but this will be the next support area. So if you did come back to this level, I'd wait, find support, and if you found support, then I'll look for the exact same trigger, prove to me it's gonna hold, and then whatever level we've got as a first objective. So if he does this and smashes down, then that will be our first objective, and then the same stuff I've told you before, the same pivotal levels will be used as continuation plays again. Okay, is that clear? What do you mean, can you buy here? I've just told you the plans, and you're asking me, can I buy here? Yeah, buy here, stop at below all-time low. Okay, so that was my plan for Bitcoin. That's about it, okay? So that's more or less summarized. That's all I can add to it, really. I mean, nothing else. I'm not gonna waffle on, chat shit. Just get straight to the point, and that's all I've got for Bitcoin. Okay, let's move forward now to XRP. That's the one you guys chose. Quick breakdown of that. So I'm actually gonna bring up my other chart for XRP. Let me just bring it up. XRP BTC. So just to save time, that's all. Nobody wants to sit here. So where are we? So it is very messy, okay? I know this Bittrex one has a spike, but the others don't. So actually no, I'll do it from scratch, okay? Fuck it. So let's go. Start with the yearly. Break it down briefly, okay? What's gonna happen here? So what's the key level for me here? Quick breakdown XRP BTC. Yearly low here. This is proven to be a key SR. Deviated it. Once I go back, we'll rally. We're at key support now. Maybe it's a relief bounce. Who knows? I ain't got a clue, okay? Why do you get these spammers, right, that come in and just start posting the shit here? There's a guy called Wealth Maker I'm trying to block. Anyways, that's that done. The next yearly level is there. So that's the yearly level there. Okay. So I'm going to look on this and say, okay, is this a range we can work with? Let's go to the quarterly. Okay, key support. I mean, it's not looking too strong, just too strong to be honest with you, but it is still key support. Let's see what we got to work with on the lower time frame. Go to the monthly. Okay, it looks kind of shit, but okay, still support. So what I'm going to also do is I'm going to mark at this level here. Okay, I'm going to mark it separate. That is a key low. And I'm just building a case for it right now. See what we got. Yeah, it's blocking. I mean, I don't know why this doesn't give a block for me. It just says timeout, unless I don't know how to use it properly. Let's go to the daily now and say, okay, we've got this. So what's the next key SR level that's capping the market? So now I'm going to build out a range again. So we've got this level here. Okay, there. That's key support, obviously, as you can see. I mean, on other exchanges, you don't get this. On Bittrex, you have. But we'll go with this level regardless. It's proven itself as SR here. Okay, so if we go down now, and we can see it's proving here. So I can just play a range band. I mean, you got both trades long if you want to, but we can see where are we range bound between. So we got a yearly level or high time frame level and this. So we got this, and then we've got this low here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark at the midpoint of that. So if it's a bearish market, it ain't going to get exactly to the range high. More or less midpoint usually is a pivot. So if I'll mark that out, I'll see what we got to work with. Has it proven itself? If it has, then I'll go with it. If it doesn't, fuck it off. So we'll do this. Okay, let's see. I mean, let's change the color around here. Okay. So we've got that to work with. Okay. It's kind of shit, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. Yes, like the video. We got 62 likes. Let's get it to 100 before I end the stream. So I'm gonna minute. And let me mark out the next downside scenario, obviously. So the next downside target would obviously be this level here, which would more or less be this consolidation here. Let's get that out. So we know where that if it breaks this yearly level we're at, the next downside is going to be towards here. Okay. Now, from this chart alone, okay, from this chart alone, if let's mark out the easy scenarios, okay, the easy scenario, say we're unsure within here, if it consolidates here and then reclaims this, then my target would be this key high time frame level. Okay, that would be it. If it breaks below here, give you the breakdown, that would be a shorting opportunity towards there. Okay, then we're left with trading within here now. Okay, so, and obviously this. So we're breaking this down now. Let's go to the lower time frame. Oops. So those are the two breakout scenarios. Let's mark our range bound scenario. So the range bound scenario will be okay. Prove to me it's going to hold this support level. So what was the objective? I said on the way, this will be a first target. Has it proven itself? Yes, it's proven itself. Here, deviation. You can see the SR there. So if we got some say drop here, consolidate back above it, that will be a trigger short term towards there. If we reclaim this level, then back towards here. Again, if you broke above here, then those are the breakout scenarios. Simple as that. And then to the downside, wait for the breakdown, you know the target. That's it. Okay. As to for higher targets, I mean, obviously keeping with the same levels, it's just here. If you reclaim this level, then I think probably the low or more of a shorter, longer term low could be in, and then we're probably looking for the base of this consolidation, and I'd say objective would then be. So as each level breaks, you're technically playing a swing play, but level to level, just make it easier. Okay, so as we know, this is the key level. When it cleared it here, push towards there, and then there. So if it clears it above here, there. So each level, okay, there, that's done. So let's move over to XRP USD. With this, I'm gonna actually do a shortcut one on this because I've already got key levels marked out on this. Actually, let's do it properly. I just want to save you guys time instead of just sitting waffling on. So let's go over this now. Key levels for me are last year's low, this yearly low, and then yearly open. Okay, last year's yearly open. I'll do the yearly open in different color. Okay, you know these two, the black lines are the yearly levels. That's the open. Okay, let's go to the monthly now, a quarterly. Okay, so week so far looks nasty, doesn't it? Monthly. Okay, we've come down. So look where we're at now. We're still at key support, and technically this is still a deviation. Okay, so now we're gonna look at this and say, okay, what can I do with this on the lower time frame to get a trigger? If you were to ask me on this basis, where invalidation level would be here. Okay, but that's not really enough to work with. Let's go down to the lower time frame now. Let's see what the weekly is looking like. Okay, it looks shit. Let's go to the daily. Okay, now we're working. Now we got this. Let's break this down further now. So where we come up into is these lows were taken. I'm trying to TA on this, is kind of a joke really, but you know I'll do anyway. And we've taken out these lows, as you can see. Okay, so we're still holding this level. It's not over just yet. So let's go to the lower time frame now, and I'm going to mark out plans. Now, it's not looking too bad down here. Just trying to make you guys feel better about if you got a bag. Okay, again, same thing. Where's our range high short term? There. What's the low capping it? I'd say here. Okay, so do the exact same thing, and I posted a chart about this anyway. This is the consolidation here. So let's mark our levels. What's similar to XRP BTC now, isn't it? That I've shown you. We're identifying our range lows, and we're identifying key pivots now. So we can see this level here. So we can see this. See when it did this, obviously when it deviated, I mean on the lower time you'd have to go, but it pushed up. That was a key level, and here, right? It's deviated to here now. I'm gonna wait on this, okay? and I want to see what we got. I mean, at the moment, I mean, I would, if I'm saying that Bitcoin could pull back, do I really want to be taking this long? I don't want to. So what I want to do is go deep into it and say we got this key level as well. The ranges within ranges. So what I would like to say, I mean, I don't like to have formation like this, but if you did this and then reclaimed this level, and that's like a double bottom in off of a key high type level, and that would be my long. If I want to play left, I reckon at that point take out these highs here, and that would just be a range bound play. If it then broke out above here, then we can start talking about higher objectives, and then I wouldn't rule out a possibility of retesting this, oopsie daisy, this low here. Okay, after that this low, and if you think about it, okay, this is one big range, right? Here, that's a deviation. If it did come reclaim this and that becomes a deviation, then that would just be a level to level play back towards the range high. More conservative entry would be this, just the base of this, but ultimately towards that. Then is that clear? And that's it. That's all I'm playing it. I mean, I find it safer playing it like this than saying I'm long here with target there. Yes, you could do that, but at the same time, I always keep in mind where is going to be resistance as each level goes in. And that's about it really. Okay. So that's Bitcoin covered, XRP covered. Hope you enjoyed the session. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, your holidays. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Big shout out to PrimeXBT. Check out the link in the description if you want to check them out. Use my link. That's about it really. So I'll catch you guys next week Sunday. Hopefully once the new year starts, I'll have more to work with, and that's it. Okay, bye bye.